Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today to share a little personal information with you. So let me just get started. So many of you who've watched my videos know that I speak about a spine surgery that I had in April. So on April 8th, I had a cervical spine fusion. Basically, what was happening prior to the surgery is that I had extreme pain in my neck and I had numbness and weakness in my left arm. And I was having so many problems that they decided to do surgery. Now, the fusion part did not take, and that is why I continue to have pain in my neck and pain in my arm. Basically, the pain that I'm feeling is worse than the pain was before I had the surgery. I am still taking medication to deal with the pain, and that's where I am. So I have been off work on short-term disability for a little over 3 months now. My short-term disability ended on July 8th, and prior to that ending, I received paperwork from my disability company for long-term disability. So I completed the portion that I needed to complete, and I sent off to the doctors the portion that they needed to complete. So there are 3 doctors involved. 2 of the doctors returned their information, and the doctor that actually did my surgery has not returned his. Basically, what I was told by the short-term disability company is this. When they request medical records, those records are held at an outside facility from where the doctors are. That facility charges $28 to get those medical records. Now, once they receive the check from the disability company and that check is cash, they then let the doctor know that it's okay to release the medical records. So we're still waiting for my surgeon to get his medical records to the disability company. Now, in the meantime, since July 8th, since my short-term disability ended, I have not received a disability check. Now, this is disability through my employer, okay? So I haven't received anything. So yesterday I was here and I received a FedEx envelope in the mail. So when I brought it in and opened it, it was a letter from my employer advising me that they had terminated my employment. And the reason that they gave is because they did not receive the information that they needed to, I guess, hold my job. Now, the information that they need is actually information from the doctor, stating either when I'm going to come back or how long exactly does he think I'm going to be off. So first off, you would think when I received the letter that I would have been a little upset, but I was not. And let me tell you why. In the last year or so, because it may have been a little bit longer than that, I have been complaining to my family and friends that basically I am burned out on the type of work that I've been doing. I've been in the healthcare industry for the past 8 or so years. I've worked for Blue Cross. I've worked for Medicaid, basically at a Medicaid HMO. Like, I don't know in your state what's the name of the local managed care Medicaid programs, but in Ohio, there's like Buckeye Health, Care Source, Molina, where I used to work for Molina. I now work for a company that they are not a healthcare company. What they do is they manage benefits for self-funded employers like school systems or hospitals or like that. And basically my title is care coordinator. Basically, I am the person that you would call at your insurance company when you have a you're having a medical crisis and you need help. Basically, we do everything for you. We call your doctors, we get your authorizations together, we make sure that everything goes smoothly. We handle your claims, we do everything. So after having worked at all these different jobs in the healthcare industry, and working in healthcare can be kind of depressing. You're talking to people who are dealing with minor to major issues, and cancer, just all kinds of things. And basically I had started to get burned out. And last year when I turned 50 and I realized that my children were adults, it didn't hit me till last year. And I don't know why, because my son is 29 and my daughter was turning 21. And I think that's when it hit me, when my baby was considered an adult. And I started thinking about the second part of my life. I had basically looked into the rear view of what had happened in the past, these last 50 years. And I realized that having kids young, I had always done things because I needed to do them. I had this little family, and you need to provide, take care of your family. So I had always worked and just did what I was supposed to do. But now that my kids were adults, I wanted to do some of the things that I just wanted to do. Not go to work and keep looking at the clock all day because, you're so bored with your job that you just want to get out of there. So I had started complaining and complaining to anyone that would listen. So yesterday when I got that paper, while on the one hand, I was a little incensed because they terminated me, and I'm out on disability. But on the other hand, I felt like a weight lift off my shoulder, if you can understand that. And I made all of my calls, of course, checked on my 401k, called the disability company, who told me that the disability process does not end just because I've been terminated. Basically, they told me that there's a clause in, what the employer's contract is, that says that even though the employee has been terminated, doesn't mean that the disability claim ends, which I didn't know that. And because I was all ready to apply for unemployment next week. So after I had made all the calls, and before I go any further, I'm going to say this. I'm being very careful about what I'm saying and what I'm sharing, because you never know who's listening. And I am a pretty bright girl. I'm no Einstein, but I do know that I have rights. And I am very much a person who makes sure that her rights have not been violated. And I will just leave it at that. And you can draw whatever conclusion that I'm sure that you're drawing. So let me just continue. So when I received the paper, I handled all my business and made sure that I'm good. I am not rich. I'm not wealthy. I'm just an average working class, little black girl out here. But I do have resources to carry me for a little bit. I'm fine. And then it's more so that I'm fine inside, I think that when God closes one door, he opens up another. And maybe this was my push to do some of the things that I've been wanting to do. I have a little brother that has not worked for anyone else since he was 25 years old. My little brother, when he was about 25, worked for this employer, and he gave them his all. And something happened, I don't remember what it was, and they fired him. And because my brother was so hurt and felt like he had given it his all, he vowed that he would never work for anyone else ever again. Now, at the time, He had a little young family, and we all thought he was crazy. My mother told him, "What do you mean you're not going to work for anybody? You got responsibility." But he explained why. He just couldn't do it. So ever since then, in the beginning, my brother was hustle man. I mean, he used to be selling purses, cassette tapes, movies. He was the CD man, everything. But in doing all those odd jobs, my brother started to stack his little money, and then eventually he and I had opened a little grocery store. Now, at the time, we were young and we didn't know what we were doing, and we had little disputes about things, and it ended. I had a full-time job and I couldn't be there like he wanted me to be, and it ended. But he didn't stop. He has had appliance stores, women's clothing stores, just all kinds of businesses. He's bought homes and flipped them, and just has slowly built himself up to where he has businesses and he's fine, and hasn't worked for anyone in the last 23 years. So I started saying, you know what? I'm going to start believing in myself. This is what I was thinking about last night when I was laying here after having, handled all the business side of this termination. I said, you know what? My kids are grown. I'm, 51 years old, and it's time for me to do some of the things that I want to do. Now, I happen to be talking to my brother, and, we're older now. When we had that business, I believe I was probably 32, and he was probably, I may have been younger, because I remember he was in his 20s. And we didn't know what we were doing. We just went and got a spot, threw some groceries in there, and we were running a grocery store. I mean, it was up and running. And, it's just a little neighborhood grocery store. But now we're older, and we've traveled the pathways of life. And, he told me yesterday that maybe this was, God's way of pushing me to do something that I wanted to do. And I have this little candle thing, and who knows, maybe I can invest in myself and believe in myself like my brother believes in himself. And maybe for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have to work for anyone, or at least give it a try. Because I don't want to be, an older lady like in my 60s, 70s, 80s, and have had a dream and never pursued it. Because I can always go back to working the type of jobs that I've had. I've even been a travel agent. I've had so many jobs in my life, and there's so many things that I want to do more. I'm not a very materialistic girl. Basically, if I have a roof over my head, my bills are paid, and I have at least some of the things that I really want. Now, I want all of the things that I need covered. My roof, my food, my bills, they got to be covered. And I also want to be able to buy some of the things that I want. But I see this termination as maybe a blessing. Now, of course, like I said, I am very, very into making sure that my rights were not violated. So I will also be looking into that. But I'm also looking forward to maybe just taking some time before I step back out there in this world working for someone else. And, I can't do that right now anyway, because I need to have surgery and, deal with the issues that are going on with my left arm. But I just wanted to share that with you. And if you guys have any stories or want to give me some advice, and you know what I'm talking about, feel free to leave it down in the comment section, or if you want to email me, that's fine too. But I'm going to have plenty of time to make videos now. Y'all probably be getting like 10 videos from me a day. No, I'm just kidding, because I want to get out and enjoy the summer. You know, like I said, a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. Now, trust me when I say I did and called everybody that I needed to call yesterday. And things have been, you know, set into motion, and just I'm looking out for me. I want to make sure that Rachel is okay. Spiritually, I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, second part of my life, you know, 51, and kids are grown. They ain't thinking about me. Child, you know these kids nowadays, they call you when they want, and they don't even call you, they text you. You could be on fire, flames licking your ass, and they'll text you instead of calling. So I just wanted to come in and share that with y'all, and I hope this wasn't real long. My videos are long anyway. I can't help it. But y'all have a great day, and thanks for taking the time to listen to my ramblings. Take care.